In this session, we're going to learn how to build the images for the WordPress slider. The WordPress slider is this rather large piece of real estate on the home page in the upper part of the home page. And these images are connected to these buttons. So as you click a button, the image will change. Now there are two parts to this image. There's the image itself, and then just below that there is a banner that says read more, click here. The reason the banner is there is because these buttons themselves don't actually link to where you want to go. It is the image itself that when you click it takes you to where you want to go. To get this banner, you go to the video tutorials button on my site, the Tech Training WordPress site, and then you click WordPress. And you're already looking at this creating images for the WordPress slider in Photoshop, assumedly, and the arrow, the Learn More arrow for Photoshop is this link right here. So when you click that, it allows you to download the .psd file for the slider template arrow. And I've now taken that slider template.psd file and pulled it from my downloads folder onto my desktop. The picture we'll be working with is teen.jpg, and as I open it, we can see that on the right there is not a lot of visual content, meaning this will work well for the website and that the buttons will go over here. We also know that because this photo was taken from the State 4-H website, that she signed a release and this photo has been vetted for use. The other thing we're going to be working with, the slider, is right here. It's a .psd file, which is a native Photoshop file. So when I open this, when I double click it to open it, it's going to open in Photoshop, which is what we're going to use to combine these two elements. So I'll double click this to get us into Photoshop, and we'll begin. You'll probably get this warning that some text layers contain fonts that are missing. Don't worry about this, just simply click OK. And here is the banner that we're going to put over our photo. This has been sized for us, so we don't really need to do anything with this. What we'll next do is pull in the photo. I'll go to File, I'll go to Open, I'll go to my desktop, and I will choose the teen.jpg, which is right here. So here's the image we're going to be working with. I'm back here at our original website very quickly to point out this information in the lower left-hand corner that the recommended image size is 950 pixels by 370 pixels. So let's remember those two numbers as we go back into Photoshop. Here's our picture again. What we want to do is define the ratio of the length of the picture to the height of the picture. And the way to do that is to go to the Crop button. It currently is set at unconstrained in the toolbar up here. I'm going to plug in those two numbers, 950 by 370. And notice that when I do, Photoshop draws a box for me with that ratio of 950 by 370. That's not the size, it's merely the ratio. So if I take a corner of one of these sizing boxes and move it, you'll notice that our picture size changes, but that ratio of height to width remains constant. I'm going to take the other corner and move this in just a little bit, and then I'm going to move the picture so that our head is centered there, and then we'll accept our crop by double clicking it, and here is our photo. Now our ratio is 950 to 370, but that's not our image size. Our image size is still 1249 by 486. So our next job is to resize the picture. My proportions have been constrained here, so all I need to do is change the top number to 950, and the height number goes to 370 automatically. I'll click OK. Here's our picture. In the lower left-hand corner, I can see I'm working with 2/3 size of our actual image, 66.67%. If I go to View and Actual Pixels, right here, I can see the actual size of my image. Our next step is combining the banner with the image. If I look at my tabs at the very top here, I can see my teen.jpg here on the right tab, and the left tab is our slider arrow. Notice as well, over here on the right, I have a layers panel. I'm going to be working now with the layers panel. If you don't see the layers panel when you have Photoshop open, go to Window and make sure that layers is checked. What I'm going to do now is take this picture and move it into our sliderarrow.psd file and combine the two images in that way. I go into the layers panel. Here is the layer. I'm going to right click, choose duplicate layer, and I'll call it background copy. The destination is not teen JPEG, which is our current picture, but rather is the sliderarrow.psd. So I'll choose that, click OK, and we'll go to the left tab now, that's sliderarrow.psd. The reason I don't see my slider arrow yet is, as I go to the layers panel here, it is behind my background image. So the arrow is hiding behind this picture. So I need to take this layer and drag it so it is above our background image. And now we can see that we have combined the two images. So now we are nearly done. We have cropped our picture in the correct ratio, and we have added our slider arrow image to it. Our next step is to optimize this image for the web. I'll go to the File menu. I'll choose Save for Web, which, by the way, will automatically compress this to the 72 dpi, or dots per inch, mentioned in the original website when we looked at it. All three of these are JPEGs. JPEG is almost always the proper format for saving a picture. And you control the quality of the picture in the upper right-hand corner here using this quality slider, which goes from 0 to 100. So let's look at a few different versions of this picture. We'll start with this first one, and we'll crank it up all the way to 100 quality. We'll take this one just below it, and we'll make our quality at 50. And then this final one, we'll leave at 5 quality. Now let's look at our download times next. At 100 quality, we have a 34-second download at 56.6 kilobytes per second. At 50 quality, we have a 6-second download, and at 5 quality, we have a 3-second download. Now the goal here is always, if you're working on the web, to broker a compromise between the picture quality and the file size. At 100 quality, a 34-second download is really pretty unacceptable because you're downloading 5 of these in addition to any of the other content that's on your web page. So this is pretty unacceptable, as I said before. At 50 quality, we're looking at 6 seconds, which is a lot more acceptable. At 5 quality, we're looking at 3 seconds, which is even better. The way to help you determine which one you want to use now is to zoom in. So I'm going to use the Control button. I'm going to click the plus button several times, which zooms in on our picture. And we can see in a little more detail what is happening. Notice that this JPEG set at 5 quality, you can see the blocks of pixels here, which is clearly unacceptable. At 50 quality, those have disappeared. And at 100 quality, we really haven't gained that much in clarity of picture. So I'm going to take this 50, I'm going to pull it down even more. Let's go for 25. So at 25 quality, it's a 4-second download, and our picture quality is not that different from our 100 quality JPEG. So this is the one I'm going to use. The 25 quality, I click it to make sure that's the one I'm choosing. I choose Save, and in this case, I will just go to my desktop and I'll save it here. It says slider arrow JPEG. I'll change this to pic1/WP or -WP for WordPress and click Save. And as I go to my desktop, I can see that my picture is right here. And that is how to crop, optimize, and add the slider arrow to your picture. In our next lesson, we'll learn how to add this picture to our WordPress website.